No,
Very good.
the guild shows are basically local shows. I mean, just mostly Michigan artists.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, I used to do the
Oh
No,
yeah,
Guild.
because you did it because you've done them in the last couple of years and you know.
no,
No,
it's
but
not.
people from
It's not Barry.
they're easier to get into.
Huh?
So artists from all over the country do the Guild, and you
I
can get
must not have been
The,
there.
the,
and then you can get a reoccurring space, so you're in the same space each year.
Not in Birmingham or any of those shows, just
Now
Ann
we're
Arbor.
talking about Ann Arbor.
Oh, well, that's different.
the,
I thought you were talking about the guild shows in general.
Now,
the guild shows in general, they're trying to get more people from out of town, and it's more like a 60-40 right
Well,
now.
they want more people from out of town, but it'd be nice to be able to recommend it, but until shows like Birmingham start, those people start coming to the show and buying, I'm not gonna tell people.
And you don't have to tell people. That's not your job to do anyhow, Barry. That's
Here
my
it is.
job.
It's always my job to do that. If it's a good show, I've told people to apply.
only good
Uh,
people.
But you have to be careful when you do that because you don't want to tell somebody to come and then have them do zero, and it
Right.
makes then I'd feel really really bad. So
Well, so what you do, well, and also you don't want you get bounced because the
no,
other people apply in your category.
I
uh,
tell everybody that's not my category, photographers, I will not give an advice. It has to be somebody that I really like
you
personally.
know, if I got bounced from the show because the artwork was better, then they've actually done what I said that I'd like them to do, which is have better artwork. I don't think we're there yet. So Oscar, I read your post, your
Which
latest
one?
post. The one
Which
about
one?
how you were in the black in Florida.
Just made
I
it.
was in the black in all
Huh?
the shows, even I was in the black in all the shows, even if with images.
It depends. It depends on how you look at it. What you're counting as expenses, don't you think?
No, trust me, I'm in the black. If I was calling expenses, just for Mario to cover the whole trip.
Yeah, I usually have that too, but I didn't have that this year anywhere.
You know, but no, it was not. Uh, Coconut Grove was the biggest letdown. Everything else, Naples, I didn't know how I was going to go, but that also was a little disappointing, especially the one with the art center. Uh, Naples Invitational, that one went as it's supposed to. It was good enough for that show. And then Images, that was a disaster. But I didn't lose money except for my time. And then what was the other one? Fort Myers went really well. Still
Gasparilla.
my best show for Casper, which is an average show. That show, I have a really good Saturday, Sunday slot, but I got a couple of calls after the show.
Really?
But
I wish my Sunday was like my Saturday.
me too. But it is what it is. But that's Gasparilla for all the hype and all the money award and everything else. You would think that show should be really, really good.
It used to be.
But I think it
Listen,
used to be doesn't matter to
well,
me.
I'm
It's
I'm
just
just
like
saying I compare them. So there was a time when only like art teachers would, college professors would bring 3 or 4 pieces and try and win the top prize.
Yeah, but
So
that's the problem. That's the problem with shows and awards because if you go there just to win an award, what happens if you don't get selected to get an award? Then and the sales are not there. What is the point of being there? That's the only attraction of that show is it's
well,
just we give $97,000 in awards, but if you know one of the 18 or 20 people lucky to get an award, even if you get a merit award that was $1,300, it's still not worth doing the show for $1,300. That's the bottom of
Well,
the
but
line.
if they're a professor, they put it on their resume or CV or whatever, and
Yeah,
that
that's
it's
not
That's
like it's
that's
like the equivalent of publishing for science and history professors.
no.
I,
I
no,
put it on my CV if I won.
winning an award in an art show to me is pointless, to be honest with you,
Well,
because
you're
it
not a
doesn't make my
professor.
work any.
I think it's great.
No,
I love getting winning
no.
Hey,
awards.
I have a glass artist friend that just found out her booth is going to be in one of those Hallmark Christmas movies where they walk through this craft fair with 4 booths visible, and her booth is going to be one of them.
That's awesome.
And I
No, but
said, what you need to do is get a copy of the video and do a screen capture and put it on your, website.
It's a movie.
Right.
doesn't
So
matter.
it's in there for a nanosecond.
Right. But you could make use of that by creating a press section on your website.
But so let me just finish thing with the award money. The award money in the show sounds great because it's free money, but the awards money in an art show doesn't make you doesn't increase the value of your artwork. Really, that's your artwork increases value. Real value is by working with galleries and high end collectors. Art show artists, their work only go as much as the public wants to pay.
Yeah, but award money isn't free money. You still have to pay your booth fee and jury fee and got to go to the show.
I like award
Yeah, no,
money.
but it doesn't do. I'm not there. I always tell people if I get an award, great, but I'm not there to win an award. I'm there to sell. If the show doesn't do enough sales,
Yeah.
because I kind of depend on that.
I always told
That's not a
people
guarantee.
I want to win the award for the most sales.
Yeah, that's what I'm in there. I'm there for making sales. If the show doesn't make, I don't make any sales. I don't care if I win the best award that year because next year I might not win it. So
There,
what is the point?
there used to be an expression that said, winning an award is a kiss of death because nobody buys your
It
work afterwards. And it actually did happen to me once.
that's always been my experience. To be honest with you, every time I win an award, it's the kiss of death.
What did you win, Oscar?
Nothing.
Nothing. No?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Nothing.
I thought since you were talking about it,
No, it's
maybe you
it's, it's
won
a
something.
generic statement.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
It's like picking what picking what you think are your best selling pieces for jurying. What ju-
Yeah,
what juries well doesn't sell well, and what sells well doesn't jury well.
often that is true. Not all the time, but often that is true. Often that is true. So how are people doing? What's going on?
Uh,
Nothing. I'm back in town. Back at home. I mean.
Are you Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm back in
okay.
Chicago,
Okay. Okay.
and it's nice and chilly outside.
Well, we've got sun for the first time here in Cleveland. We get a lot of overcast skies. We're up by the lake, and so it's often quite gray and overcast. Like, I don't know what percentage of the year, but it's a lot. So when we have sun, it's really nice.
Yeah,
Nice every time
64
you get
now.
it.
Tomorrow's going to go up into the 70s.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, well, let me ask you guys some questions about other art fairs and stuff since we last met. So I got so for the weekend of the 10th through the 13th of July, I guess it is, I got accepted to shoot oh God Plymouth, Michigan Art in the Park, which is supposed to be one of the top 20 of Sunshine Magazine's top 200
Oh, yeah.
shows.
Ah,
Oscar's saying no, 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 no,
First
no,
of
no.
all, Sunshine Artists is only for amateurs and people that don't know what they're doing. Don't ever look in there. That'll get
Oh,
the only
okay.
thing that's good for is listing shows for filler weekends.
Oh,
I
really?
I haven't looked at one
Yeah.
in 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I
Well,
haven't missed
I don't
anything.
either, but they list it as a credential,
Yeah, of course.
as a selling point. Okay, does anybody have any of you even heard of it?
Yeah, but I
All
don't
the
know
time I
anything about
go,
it.
like I never,
Is
it's not
that
even my radar anymore.
It's
is that
what
the
not
week
even on your radar. Okay, well, I know you're like big time, Oscar, okay? I know
is
you're like
that the
big time.
No,
weekend? Is
I'm
that the
not a
Oscar,
big
weekend
big
time.
before Ann
time.
Arbor?
No, I'm not a big time.
That's your new
I'm in
name,
the
big
pack.
time.
Big
When you
time.
call me Oscar and I say, "Hey, big time, how you doing?"
Is that the weekend before Ann Arbor?
Yeah, okay, so I'm accepted there. I'm waitlisted at Central Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania.
That's a much
They,
better show.
I know, but I'm waitlisted. I'm
Um,
waitlisted. Hold on, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm waitlisted. I think it's Croswell is that weekend too. I'm waitlisted.
yeah,
And
even Krasel is better than Plymouth.
right, I'm
Oh,
sure.
well,
And then I haven't
I
heard
don't
back
agree.
from
Oh,
Kane
Plymouth. That's
Park.
right.
Kane Park is my backyard. And I that's usually one of my two best shows a year, so I really have to consider that. And I have a lot of people who follow me and come. But, you know, we'll see. I don't know. I think I would do the Pennsylvania show, obviously, if I get in, but it's like it's hard because you have to, like you say, you have to look at the refund policies and the deadlines and who you're going to say yes to and all of that. So it gets a little
Okay,
complicated.
I got to save you the headache. What
What?
are the two? What is the choice that you have for that weekend?
What are they? What
Yeah.
is it called? Central
State
State
College, just call it
State
State.
College, Pennsylvania, waitlisted, Croswell waitlisted, Plymouth, Michigan accepted. Haven't heard yet the results from Kane Park, Cleveland Heights.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, if you get to Kane Parks, don't do it. Plymouth, don't do it. Just wait for see if you get to Cross or Central Park.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to be wasting
I
your time and money.
I would do Penn State because it's 4 days.
Yeah,
I
right?
think it's,
Yeah.
did they reduce it to 3 days now?
Oh, I don't know.
I
Ann
think
Arbor did.
Yeah,
Um,
I
no.
think it's
I
maybe
I like I like the clientele at Penn State.
Yeah, but
Of course,
there,
when I did it, it was 105 degrees every day.
I
So
mean,
oh
I
geez.
did it about
The
18
clientele has
times.
changed, Barry.
what's that?
The clientele has changed. You're
Who
not getting
who
any
Oh,
comes
more.
to
really?
okay, who comes to Central Pennsylvania if
Well,
there's
it's
nothing but
winter.
the university and it's the middle of nowhere in the summer?
It
Um,
People
used
come
to
from
it
be
used
Virginia
to be
or
alumni weekend.
You know,
ah
I
it used
don't
to be alumni weekend. It's not anymore alumni weekend.
I don't
So
oh
make, you know what? I don't make suggestions because one show could be really crummy for one person and really good for another. So, flip a coin, do whatever you want. That's the only way you learn. That's what you
Yeah,
do.
absolutely. I know. I mean, I've made money, like serious money at the crappiest little nothing shows. And at bigger shows, well, bigger shows, I've like Ann Arbor. When I did Ann Arbor, I did not do well. Maybe I was in a bad location or whatever, but people just walking by, they didn't even stop to look. I mean, they didn't
Which one
even.
of the shows did you do?
I did State Street, and I
Oh,
know
there you
that's.
go.
I
How long
know,
Which
I
ago?
one?
know, I
How long
know.
ago?
2 years. two
That's, you
years.
mean the State Street buy sell show?
Well, I guess I didn't know that. Okay, I
No,
didn't
that's
know
only
that.
part of it is buy sell.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
The places on East Liberty, once you get away from the stores, are pretty good.
Well,
But
I didn't
on the
apply
post
North
because I
office,
found
University.
out,
East University, East Liberty's horrible. North University is the only place to be. And I don't even know anymore if that's any good.
Well,
Main
I found out
Main
the hard
Street
way that
rebuilt.
it's no good. So I took, my own advice and figured out apply to the other two, to the guilds and to the original. I didn't get in the original. But I'm waitlisted for the summer one, so who knows? I talked to Robin. Oh, no. Yeah, Robin, right? No.
Now, Nicole.
Nicole, so sorry.
Or
So sorry. I'm
Karen.
talking to a Robin. I talked to Nicole. And she said, well, you're pretty far down on the list as far as your score goes. But if you hang in there, you'll probably get in. And I showed her a picture of my booth from Kalamazoo garage sale. And I said, I learned very quickly that my booth shot really sucks major, major. And so I sent her a picture of my booth from Kalamazoo. Even though it's an indoor shot, it looks way better than what my booth that's loaded down with too many pictures looks like that all the other shows got. So, she said, yeah, well, your scores will definitely go up with this shot. So, what
Yeah,
have
ask
you?
Oscar. He was a judge.
Oh, I was
Uh,
going to say, I know the judges, so if you pay me enough money, I'll help
Oscar
you get in.
Chobani.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way. It's fine.
Can you put it in your screen, the bush shot,
What do you mean? What do you
I
mean?
think she
the
should pay the
background?
$25 and come on April 15th.
Just put it in the background or your background for Zoom.
Right, Larry?
Picture your bush
Yeah,
shot.
Oh, oh,
push the
oh, oh,
mock
oh.
jury.
I can't right now. I'm not on my computer, my regular computer. I'm just on my laptop
Okay.
upstairs.
We're
No,
holding
but oh, okay.
the next the
Let's
next
see.
mock jury is April 15th.
For you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
do that one also.
oh, okay, cool.
And
Cool.
Barry is
I
one
use
of
it
our
to.
jurors.
And we don't judge the work, we just judge the booth.
Well, and the presentation.
And I hate to use this word because there's only a few people that actually understand what this word actually means. Um, uh, I forgot the word already. Consistent. The work is consistent.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
willing to say, right here and now. I've been doing art fairs for 12 years. I picked up my camera again in 2003 after putting it down in probably 1991. For a lot of personal reasons, I put it down in 1991 and didn't pick it up again until 2003. But since 2003 until now, I've been, working. I've been doing photography, and I was pretty shitty at first getting back in. And I'm not saying I'm great now, but I'm way better than I used to be. And actually, I've gotten to a place where I like my work. I really actually can say that instead of just, I don't know if I hated it, but I definitely thought it wasn't any good. And I definitely thought, I mean, when people first started, like my first show, and people bought my work, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're giving me money for this? Are you kidding me? I seriously, I seriously believe that. I seriously was like, oh my God, they're giving me money for this. So, I've come a long way away from there. And I really think that I've evolved to a place where my work is like consistent and does make sense. It does cohere. It does hold together. It may have very different subject matters, but my approach, my style, my voice is consistent. I'm willing to say that. And it took me a long time to be able to say that.
I'm going to tell you from personal experience. It's does I think that my body of work is consistent, but most of the viewers don't.
Most of the
So
viewers
Oh,
don't.
Oscar, do we have to go through this again? I've explained it to you 5,000 times. You don't need to bring it up again. Your work's consistent.
oh,
End
I
of
say it
story.
doesn't matter. It's not for you. It's just saying like there's no way you can think that's consistent, but some people don't think of. So you
Sorry,
gotta.
you should only be doing it for yourself and you should be pleasing the jurors. That always upsets me. Like, the hell with the jurors. Please
Well,
yourself. How
it's
about being
not
an
about that.
artist? Please yourself.
No,
But
it's
I
not
mean,
necessarily that. You
we've
need to.
talked about this. Jurors are so random half the time. Some of them are skilled, many of them are unskilled. Each one has has their own idea about what beauty means and what a good aesthetic is and what they like and what they don't like. And you put five people in a room and you put another five people in, they're going to come up with totally different
Yeah,
responses.
it's only what they like. It has nothing to do with quality.
Well,
But
I would not like to think that. I think there's some people who actually do a good job. I do.
this is the thing that I. It's not that you don't trust what you do, but you still. The reality is when you apply to shows, you're depending on the five people that are seeing your work. So you have to get the what I concluded. Even if I like the work and I think it's really good, I need to have a percentage. You ask different people, and say out of 10 people, is 6 or 7 people like that direction. There's a better chance of you getting to the show because chances are that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to appeal to the masses, and when I mean to the masses, applying more jurors will see that way, but you have to know who the people that are doing the work. Normally, you have to know a few people so you can ask the right people.
Well, I
But
don't know
everything
anybody. I
starts.
don't know. I know zero people. I know zero.
You're better
So
off.
I was used to do the thing with Larry because even I always set it. I try to set a set of images to him so I have an idea where I'm going, and most of the time it's not what I send to the SAP applications, but just testing it out. I usually use it like a test
Yeah. Well,
project.
I did. I did it the last time. When was it, Larry? In January, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Okay, it was in January.
Oh, right.
So
You did that.
I think I submitted two applications and I got feedback from you guys Barry, you were jurying, and um what came out of it, because then afterwards I asked Larry, okay, I'm gonna be making submissions. I'm going to be applying to shows of these basically 8 images that I saw, and you were in it too, Barry. I think which ones would you choose? And you guys chose four that I thought were like smart and made sense, and because I do a lot of abstractions, and these had to do with movement. There was movement involved. Well, I submitted those to the St. Louis mock jury, and two of the four jurors laughed. I mean, like almost overtly
Okay,
laughed
I'll tell you
at
right now, I wouldn't listen to anything the St. Louis mock jury has to say.
I,
I
I was going to say that too.
why.
They have
agree.
made last year they made comments about my work and made comments about other things that doesn't I don't know. And
It's because
when I
of
did
them
it
I started my own mock jury.
when I did it last year, the comments I got were so outrageous. I actually saw
Yeah.
the Sarah Umloff, the show director, uh,
Yeah.
a few weeks after that, and said something to her. I said, Sarah, what? Who is on your mock jury? Because this is what they. Sarah's seen my work. She's been in my booth, and I said, these are the comments I got from your mock jury, and you
Well, is
know,
your mock jury different from the St. Louis jury?
yes,
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
Well, then why did they have this mock jury that's so bad?
For beginners.
it's for people that are just starting out, and yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, I had a picture that one of the jurors said they had gone into a gallery and seen something very similar and it made them dizzy and they wanted to fall over. Okay. So,
That's real professional.
and so I felt like saying, "Do you want me to give you a little push? Do you
Here's the
want me
thing.
to give
Here's the
you
thing.
a little
I
push?"
I never look at a mock jury because I think I'm going to throw a brick through my screen
I
because,
couldn't
you
believe
know,
it. I was on a 50-foot ship in Antarctica when I was listening to this and I was
save
like, "Are you
yourself the
kidding me? Are
aggravation.
you kidding me?"
Save yourself the aggravation. Don't watch these. But ours is different because we just judge the consistency of the work of the images and what the booth slide looks like. We don't talk about the quality of the artwork because to tell you the truth, most I look at that stuff and I go, those people should get a job at Walmart or something. That they shouldn't be doing this. I don't think most of them are any goods, but you can't say that.
Well, I'll
Well, we
submit
we
my
decided we weren't
new.
gonna we weren't gonna judge the work. So
Well, how can you not do that? That's what you're selling and then
it's
submitting.
easy. We've done it how many times? Six, 8 times?
Well, what are you just going to judge the booth shot and not the work? How can you do that?
It's easy. We're not judging a show. We're judging how what we're judging is how to present yourself to a jury. Any jury. That's all we're doing. We're not discussing the artwork because
And
it's
we
it's a
also
separate
take into
subject.
account your artist statement too.
Yeah, oh, the artist statement, yeah. Which
Well,
should be, it isn't an artist statement. It's not, it's
It's
like,
materials
what
and
is
technique.
wrong with this scene? It's not an art. If it was an artist statement, it should say artist statement. It doesn't. It says materials and technique that you do. I don't understand why that's so hard to understand from both sides, the jury side and the artist side. I mean, it's English, it's not a different language. That's
well,
what it
it's a
says.
little different for photographers than ceramicists, I would think,
The
because
same
you're dealing with an
technique.
image. You're dealing with an image that is 2D and flat.
No,
And
you're dealing with technique. It's about technique, how
yeah,
you
I
do it.
agree. I
That's
agree.
what it
I
is.
agree.
It has
I
nothing to do
agree.
with the image.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree. I agree. Larry helped me hone my artist statement. I was very grateful to him for that. So he helped me pare it down and make it be succinct. So that was.
Uh, so what medium you work in photography?
I mean, I'll shoot anything, Oscar, but what I have come to exhibit more and more is abstractions. Okay, but
But
they're all
it's
a very,
photography.
they're
But
not like
it's
they're not like
what is the
random
medium?
abstractions. They're rooted in the real. They're of real things, but what you're seeing is the structure of the subject. Okay.
I know that I did told me that, but I asking you which medium is you a photographer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. From from the from the jurors that I saw in Ann Arbor and the other guild shows, the one thing that I would tell you as a photographer, you don't need to put what camera you use.
No. Yeah.
You don't have to put
What lens, what
what
aperture.
lens. You don't have to put what kind of paper you use. You don't need to
Yeah.
put what kind of if you put
Yeah.
in a metal or anything. You just have to
Yeah.
get down to what you're trying to accomplish with your photography.
Right. Well, that's what Larry helped me with. I said basically
That's an
focus.
artist statement. That's not what they're asking.
Well,
God,
I said focus on structure, colon, looking at or recognizing, bringing forward the lines, shapes, forms, hues, rhythm of a subject, bringing them clear, bringing them to the fore. And I thought that was pretty accurate description of what my work actually does.
listen,
Okay.
I blame the shows. I'm not blaming any artist because they should be asking for an artist statement. This technique thing, it's for the juror that doesn't know what they're looking at. Oh, this is what they do. Well, I think they should know something before they jury. And so it shouldn't be, that shouldn't be there. It should be the artist statement.
It's just that
Personally,
sometimes,
that's my personal feeling.
What's that?
sometimes,
What's that, Court?
sometimes when you're doing the jury process, one thing that I got from this experience was when you're looking at the work, even you only have X amount of time to see it, to be honest with you. Uh, in some shows, you only have, with the guild, they give you a little more time to look at the work, to look at the statement, the description of each piece, and everything else. But realistically, there's some things that the image doesn't translate properly to the person. And quite honestly, some things looks the same without the if you don't have the description or what you're doing, you really cannot tell what you're looking at because sometimes the photography doesn't translate to your work.
Okay,
Oscar,
I'll show you one thing.
Oscar, wait a minute, wait a minute. I have a question that's not related that I'm in the middle of something I want to ask. When
Okay,
you
here's
juried the
one.
guild, they were using monitors, right?
Yeah, we do it
Well,
in the computer.
wait a minute. Yeah, but are they seeing the images on a black web page?
Yeah, it's distinct from SAP.
What?
From his
We see
application.
it in SAP application. Like at SAP, we use
Right, but
the
are they seeing them on a black web page when they see each image?
I
yeah.
think so.
And it's not a white
I think
page.
so. No, it's a black
Okay, see, this
page.
is why I add borders to all the black, all of my Zap images, because they don't see the borders for monitor juring, but they're necessary for projection juring. What do you
Okay,
think?
well
Go ahead,
here's an
Court.
image. Here's an image that I've submitted. And this is of a dune in Death Valley. Okay, it's just a close up and you're just seeing, what are you seeing? You're seeing like nothing. You're seeing like nothing, but you're seeing something that is, I don't know, kind of interesting. Maybe not. I like it.
Okay.
Like,
Here, here's my 100 character description of technique. Um, Documentary black and white photographs printed with custom carbon pigment inks on rag paper.
There you go. And mine is wheel cut, thrown, and altered raku. Each piece gets two electric firings and 2 to 4 raku firings. That's 99 without a period at the end. It's 99 characters.
well,
And
that's very descriptive, actually.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
know,
the
I
technique.
know, I know. But like what Court says, ours is a little different. Ours is a little
They're all
different. Ours,
different.
ours is a little more succinct. You're not, you get to say two firings. You get to say, actually you're working with a material in your hands, whereas we're working with an image. It's a little different, I think.
My longer
Now,
one, the 300 character one that I just used for St. Louis, is my photography is heavily influenced by my time as a photojournalist. It is why I work in black and white. Observing life is how I found images for newspapers and how I work now. I shoot a mix of digital and film with 25 years film experience. I custom mix black and white carbon pigment inks and print on 100% rag paper.
Well, there you
now
go.
I'm going to tell you one thing that I noticed that's really crucial. I think that, and this is one thing that I like about the Guild compared to other shows, and you get for most of the shows you get 5 people to jury the entire show. Those 5 people are jurying every single medium. Doesn't matter which medium. The Guild does it a little bit different. The Guild does it. They got a set of jewelers. They jury the jewelry's category. That's the only thing that they jury, just the jewelry. They got a section, another set of jurors. They does the 3D work. Basically, those are people. It have to be a ceramic and a sculpture. Somebody in that section. That's the only people they jury that. The people that do 2D only do 2D art. You don't have people mix it. The only one that the bouncing all three of them is Bonnie because she's the sure person from the guild. So she's in all three shows and three jury process. Most of the other shows you might have an, a gallery owner, you might have a non-profit organization person, you might have two artists, and you might have another person in there. They have nothing to do. They might not know anything about ceramics. They might not know anything about photography. They might not know anything about printmaking. They might not know anything about textile. They might know about painting because that's the most what most people know about it. But when you don't get the same, the person that's seeing the jury process don't necessarily knows deep enough in each thing in each medium to do a good evaluation about the work. And this all comes down to if they like it or they don't like it. So it's sometimes no matter how good is your technique, if the person doesn't understand what you're doing, they don't want to give you a good score. It's Core told me a story about the guy that when he won an award because he understood what he was doing for printing. But more people will not even think about it. I know the Core does a different black and white printing, and I understand it's much better than most people do. But if you don't understand that, they will not appreciate the work the same way. It's the same thing like if you do just does regular glazing and ceramics, but you're not doing anything else, it's just glazing. If you don't do anything more sophisticated, it's just that. Throwing at some point, every potter knows how to throw the form. At least that's what I hope.
Ah,
So
not necessarily. There's good. Listen, there's good and there's bad. As long as you're
that's what I
bringing
said.
this
I
up,
hope.
let me tell you something. I come from the Japanese philosophy. My instructor gave us the Japanese philosophy, which is basically simple forms. It's the hardest to do and it's the strongest to do, and then really good glaze technique. And you can't have one without the other. That's what I learned. And subtlety is really important. In art fairs, subtlety like doesn't mean anything. These judges, they don't know what they're looking at. They never know what they're looking at. And it's frustrating. What I should have done this year, because this year was the Smithsonian show, which is really the top um, show for 3D work. They had a theme, and it was simple forms. And like, why I didn't see that because that's my homies. That's where I should be, and at least that's where I'll get understood. And I didn't apply.
Oh
Uh,
man.
you know. But hey, it's the Asian and Asian ceramics. The height of Asian ceramics was 1,400 years ago. I wouldn't say it's been downhill since then, but the work that was there that was created was unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
you know,
I agree. I agree.
and if you want to know, if you want to see some of it, go to the Asian Museum in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. If you want to see some of uh, that quality level.
Hmm.
And nobody here, this is America, nobody understands that. Now you might say, Oscar, yeah, well, we're not there, we're here, we're not Japanese, we're American. So, but that doesn't change what I've determined is good over the last 40 years. You
No,
know,
but you have to admit, all of us who are sitting here have to admit that we have had people walk into our booth, strangers, complete strangers, but who are smart, aware, and what have you, and they will walk into your booth and they will say, Barry, oh my God, your work is fantastic. It is
yeah.
so beautiful, and they appreciate it and they understand it and they know it and they say, I will take, you
Yeah,
know.
you know what? That's kind of a curse because I don't get enough of those. And all you
None
need
of
is
us
one or
do.
two, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked, you know?
I know, but it's lovely when someone does that.
And the artists like my work better than the general public. But there are those people, you know.
They just feel sorry for you, Barry.
Yeah, I once had somebody come into my booth at Madison and ask me if I got my pictures printed at Costco's.
And you
And I
said
said,
yes, right?
and I said
But
yes.
don't
And
tell
he says, well,
anybody.
that's really smart because all their printers are calibrated. And that was because of an article that Chris Marr and I wrote for Shutterbug magazine. We wrote the article with somebody who actually ended up getting the job of calibrating all of Costco's printers. Collaborated.
I think we were at St. James Court and somebody bought all his work, like everything in the booth and
Oh
everything
my
he had to go in the
God.
booth. It happens.
Oh man. Oh man. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
Like with Oscar, they want to buy all his work, but he says, "No, I need the work for something else." So he won't sell him. He won't sell him a lot. They'll only sell him a certain amount.
Hey, well, all you guys, like, we have a chat here, don't we? Don't we? With Zoom, we have a chat, right? Can
Yeah,
you can you just put your all your website addresses in? Because, so we don't have to write like Katie, I don't know your last name and everything. If you can just put your website in so I can look at everybody's work, that would be great, right?
No.
No? Why?
Barry doesn't because
he
Barry
doesn't
doesn't
have
have a
his work
website
on a
because he's too
website.
lazy
I have
to
a
put it.
Facebook site, but it doesn't matter. I got hacked a couple of years ago, and I'm really not a big social media person.
Well, I'm not talking about social media. I'm just talking about your website.
It's a whole thing. It's
Oh.
part of it. All I know is that if I put my phone number and my address in there, I'm going to get bothered with phone calls
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and spam messages.
do you know what
Well,
you
I
do,
get, I
Barry?
get, I get always,
Good, Oscar.
I get messages from,
Block.
they must be Asia, but I get people who say, "Oh, I can clean your office," meaning my business has an office that needs to be cleaned. And I can't tell you how many I've gotten through my website queries about cleaning my office. It's hilarious.
Well, it's taken the joy out of this whole social thing. So if you notice, I don't even post much on Facebook. I don't, or anywhere. I just
Well,
anymore. And I used
I
to be
have
on
to,
there.
yeah, I have to reset up a Facebook um page for my business because I went dark after the election for months. So everything came down. I took down my personal page, but I didn't think my business page would come down, but that came down too. Everything came down.
I get extra business, side business from people that saw me at the art fair, took my card, and then ended up getting a hold of me later on.
Oh, for sure. And I have a book. I mean, when people say they like my work, whether they're buying it or not, depending on the circumstance, and if they seem to be, they would be amenable to this, I'll say, "Do you want to be on my email list? Do you want to do that?" And some people say, "Absolutely not." And some people say, "Yes, please." So, and that email list of about 400 people is solid gold. Those people come back. They do. They do. You send out an email blast every so often, and you say a little bit or a little more, a little less, and you know, you get people who like your work and they will come back.
Yeah, I got an email list and I just send them to the people that were at the show or surrounding shows. So if I do something that's like 10 miles away, if I do Ann Arbor, I'm going to send it to all my other, Michigan people and maybe then some.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm going to be here. Here's my booth space.
yeah. Okay, let's see if I can get this. All right, well, thanks for doing that. Hold on, let me put this in here.
Hey, I got something interesting. The results for uh Madison was supposed to be out yesterday. Okay, so yesterday was a holiday, right? Was it? Was yesterday
Yeah,
St. Patrick's Day?
yeah, but that's not a national holiday,
Yeah, it's another, but it's amateur. It's amateur day, so
right?
an excuse. So anyway, so I didn't see it today either. So I'm wondering if they'll let me in because I had an issue with them the last time I did the show.
How many
I
shows
actually
have
won an
you had
award,
issues with?
huh?
How many shows have you had issues with? Or how
Not
many
a whole
shows
lot.
haven't you had issues with?
No, most of them. No. Listen, if I like the show, I gush about it. But I'm not gonna, like there's certain things that I just find to be outrageous, and I'm just gonna say something, and it's like you can't say anything. Like, what is that censorship? What are we? What planet are we on? What country are where we can't
Hey,
say what we want to say?
my local show, Three Rivers,
Yeah,
I used to sponsor an award at that show of my
yeah,
services.
yeah.
And I wrote something on Art Fair Insiders they didn't like.
Well, I did that. Listen, I did that plenty of times. I was prolific on Art for Insiders. I wrote a lot, but if it was good, I wrote a whole thing. I wrote a whole thing about Ann Arbor. I went through the history of it from the beginning to, whenever Art for Insiders was hot, and I explained it.
So they,
I got waitlisted to them, Larry.
Three Rivers,
Yeah, I haven't heard.
So Carla Bank is asking between Old Town and
it's
Lakefront.
Three Rivers
She's
is
saying,
different this year because of construction. They're only going to do a 3 day festival instead of a 10-day festival.
I thought you were going to say they were only going to do two rivers instead of three.
Yeah.
Or one river.
So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people didn't get in this year that normally do it.
Well, it's really small, apparently. It's very
Yeah,
small.
yeah. But it's
Hey,
also,
Oscar.
isn't it the same weekend as Columbus?
I didn't get into Columbus.
No, that's like the 7th and 8th of January or
It no,
June.
beginning of June. It's
Yeah,
beginning
that
of
would be the
Yeah,
June.
first week. Oh,
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think yeah, like the 6th, 7th, and 8th, something like that.
no, I got
why
that one
you
covered.
asking, Barry?
Oscar, you're saying you're choosing between Old Town and Lakefront?
Lakefront. I
Well,
told her that Lakefront is a show that's up and down.
Yeah,
You can do really amazing or you can flop. It's
same thing.
how
I
much
know.
you want to
Can
risk.
you
How much
can
you want to
you
risk.
and I've had both experiences actually. Have you done Old Town before?
I usually do it. I didn't
And do you
get
like
this
it?
year, but I do all the time. My track record, you do it 2 years and then you get out. 2 years you get out. That's how they treat me. Or I get it 1 year in and the next year I don't get in.
Who is this? What is this?
Old Town. So
Where's
Old Town,
that? Where's that?
Chicago.
Chicago.
Oh,
The Old Town neighborhood of Chicago.
okay.
So where are you leaning to? I know exactly how you feel about Lakefront. Um,
I thought to do lakefront. I don't do it. I got rejected from lakefront and Old Town this year,
you
but I
got
told her that
rejected from you got rejected from both?
yeah, I having a crappy summer to be honest with you, application wise. I'm doing a Barry this year.
That's right. It isn't. Hey, listen, it isn't always that way. I'm in Lakefront. I'm doing a bunch of shows. I've lowered. You know what? I've lowered my standard with some shows or some weekends. And here's the deal: it costs so much less and so much less hassle to go to some little dinky show. And so when you talk about expenses, for a bigger show, and then what I take in versus spending a couple $1,000s less, but taking in a couple $1,000s less, it actually works doing the lesser shows. So, last year it was an ego thing because I went, oh no, I'm doing this show and all these amateurs and people gaming the system and crummy artwork, but actually I've adjusted to it now. So I'm actually going back to some of these shows and I'm almost looking forward to it. I think I can get, more business this year. And the expenses
No,
are not are next to nothing.
the things like quite honestly, if both, I think the lakefront is $500, right?
Is it? I don't know. I paid it. So
It's
is it
five, six hundred
500?
dollars. And
Yeah.
I think so. All done is $800.
Yeah.
So if I was traveling, and I would say lakefront in my head because it will be cheaper to do lakefront
Yeah.
over hotel just because of the hotels.
It's less of a hassle.
Because
And the hotels aren't expensive
yeah,
in Milwaukee.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot cheaper to do. You can get a great hotel for 150, $200 a night. Good luck at that one in Chicago.
Even less. Even $100, $75.
I'm talking a great hotel. No, 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 not the hotel that you and I like.
I'm just sleeping. I don't need a great hotel. I need to sleep in a shower. That's all I need.
No, I need a comfortable bed. I cannot do it.
But there's
If I'm
no
going to be
guarantee. Wait a
struggling, I
minute.
sleep.
There's no guarantee that you're going to have a comfortable bed in a high-end hotel. There's no guarantee of
Boy,
that.
I will be finally like complaining to the manager, your bed sucks. I got bed bugs. I
Well,
need my money back.
well, yeah. Well, you probably could get it back if you complain like that. It
Okay.
could be too soft. It could be too hard. You don't know.
Okay, I will tell you the two most terrible hotel experiences I have had in my life
Uh-huh.
and preface it with saying one that was actually not those two, but that I paid $8 for, $8 in rural Laos. Big, big, like big not apartment, but room, big, with like a seating area in the bed, everything, like big. But salamanders on the walls, just salamanders on the walls. You got to deal with that. Okay. But $8 a night, but rural Laos. Okay. I don't know which is worse, first or second. I would say first is Hudaida in Yemen on the Red Sea. Okay, that was so scary. I was traveling with my really good friend Jim from college, and he was an expat for 20, well, he still is an expat. He's in the Marshall Islands right now. But I mean, for the last 25 years, he's been an expat, and then we're great friends and we travel together. So we were in Yemen. And we went to this well, actually, it was like a resort, but there was no one there. Why? Because there's sharks in the Red Sea and people don't want to swim in it. So, it was a failure on the part of Yemen to try to create a resort on the Red Sea. But anyway, we went there and I mean, just like nightmarish, just nightmarish. And then, when in India, I flew into Delhi to meet him and he was staying at another hotel and I gave him the address of where I was and he came to my hotel and I had been there for a few hours and I had just come from America and I was tired and everything. I went to take a shower, but I didn't I wouldn't take my shoes off. Like it was so dirty. I didn't take my shoes off to shower or get in the bed or anything. And when he finally came, he came to see me and he took one look at the place. He said, "We're leaving. Just pack your bags. We're just leaving." And we just like walked out and got another hotel somewhere. So I have stayed in some really seriously bad hotels. But one of the bad ones, seriously, also was the Red Roof Inn in Toledo, Ohio, whereby, you know, there was like a bird's nest over the top of the door and a pizza still in the microwave and, you know, forget about a bed that you can't sleep in. Anyway, I'm sure we all have stories like this.
Hey, my worst was a truck stop in Texas,
Oh
just
yeah?
outside of Houston.
Yeah.
Because when I slept in my truck, I used to take showers at truck stops.
Sure.
And
Sure.
before I went in the shower, I had to buy a pair of flip-flops.
Yeah.
Which truck stop? Because some
I
of them are
don't,
good.
we're talking 30 years ago.
The pilot stations are pretty good. Of
Yeah,
course,
and what's the other one? The really
Loves.
good one.
I thought pilot was better than Loves. And
No,
it and it
there's
Loves are
depends.
bigger though. Loves are bigger, aren't they? Loves? They're
They're the
bigger.
same. It
Oh.
depends on which one. They're, even within the same company, they're all different. But now I go to Planet Fitness. I don't need that.
Oh, really?
oh,
Oh, well.
Flying J.
Yeah, that's same as Pilot. They're the same company.
Okay, those were the best.
Some of it sometimes
You gotta think about like who we are and the job that we do and all of the, you know, aspects of it. We're free. Okay, we're free. We're free people. So few people are free. We can determine our own destiny. Not completely, but to a large extent, way more than someone who was shackled to a cube. Okay, they make more money than we do, maybe, but they are not free. We
Court,
are.
are you laughing
No.
about this? Are you
You gotta
laughing?
realize this. We may not
Oh,
be
please.
rich, but we're
I don't even care
free.
anymore. Who cares? I just do it, you know. You
And
know,
that's a 70s song.
I don't
Freedom's
need,
just another word for nothing left to lose.
Yes, exactly.
oh,
Freedom's
please.
just another world for
Oh,
nothing left
please.
to
You're
lose.
torturing me.
Nothing, nothing free. What?
You're torturing me.
It's absolutely true. The hippies knew what was right
Oh,
and good.
please.
The hippies all knew it.
Who cares?
What do you mean? What do you mean, who cares?
I just do what I do.
Take it, appreciate it. Appreciate it. You are dictating your own fate. Nobody is telling you what to do.
You're
You
assuming,
know how,
listen, you don't want to go in this direction because you're assuming something that you have no idea what you're talking about. So don't even start, okay?
what are you talking about?
What
What?
you're saying.
Why?
You're saying things about me. You're coming to conclusions that I don't really care. I don't really do this, but I care more than everybody in this room. So,
I
which
don't
gets me in trouble. I'm just not
I don't know
into
how I'm offending
discussing.
you in particular.
You're not offending me.
Well, I'm
Never mind.
praising
I'm not saying anymore. I'm
I'm
not saying
praising
anymore.
you. I'm praising you
Don't
for being
praise me. Don't say anything. Just you have your own opinions about everything.
okay. As you do. As you do.
Yeah, I just do it. The days of caring about where I fit in and all that, that's long gone, you
Oh,
know.
that went away with age, young
It
age.
went no, it went away when the shows like it ended up going way downhill, and it's like you hear about people talking about the good old days, and like here I am talking about it, but it was way better, and I was there, so.
And
I
actually,
agree with
when I
you. I
first
agree with
started
you.
doing shows, I used to hear about the good old days.
I know. Oh, you know what? You know what? Also, hey Larry, 30 years ago, they were saying that the shows are going to only last a couple more years because everybody's old and they're going to retire. And here it is, 30 years later, and it's all different people, and they're all saying the same thing. I find that to be funny, kind of funny. Same conversations, all these same conversations over and over again.
When did you start, Barry?
Art fairs,
Yeah.
somewhere in the early 80s,
Okay.
Oh, I did. I
1880s.
started before you.
I know, Larry. I know.
When did you start doing ceramics?
When did I take my first ceramics class? 1976 or 5, something like that.
Okay.
Unless you
What
count
was
the amateur at the Ann Arbor Arts Center. I did this night thing once a week. It wasn't anything. There was nothing to learn. It was just like playtime it was really just
Mud
playtime.
pies. Mud
But
pies.
I'm sorry, Katie.
Mud pies.
Mud
Making
pie.
mud pies.
You know, there's a book called The Mud Pie Dilemma, and it's this guy, Tom Coleman, who's a famous guy, and he talks about going from one exhibit, in those days when there were a lot more exhibitions, and he'd get ready for one gallery exhibit, and then he'd start another. Then when that ended, he'd have another one. And the mud pie dilemma is that you keep on doing this over and over again. It's no different than art fairs. Keep doing this over and over again.
I took a
Different
class
outcome.
on ceramic. I made coil pots and slab, what
Yes.
slab, whatever. It was great fun in college.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are the
I
two
did too
things you
in
do.
college, but
The
that's
pinch
because I
pots.
couldn't wheel. I couldn't do the wheel because both my wrists had been sprained in gymnastics, and when you're
Yeah.
pushing in, you're, you're in pain
Carpal
trying to.
tunnel syndrome.
No, I had seriously sprained both wrists in gymnastics.
What
So
what kind of gymnastics did you do?
Florex and beam,
Wow.
but
I'm
I made the
impressed.
mistake of having one of the gymnastics team guys showing me how to pop a handstand. And after I severely sprained the wrists doing it, the coach came in and says, "No, women are not supposed to press handstands. They pop them
Oh
because
God.
women don't have the shoulder muscles to roll up into them." So
Oh
I
my God.
overbalanced and
Oh
So
my
did that ruin
God.
your career?
in gymnastics,
Yeah.
well, it was a
Yeah,
while.
she was slated to be in the Olympics.
No, I started much too late for that, but no, the broken ankle from balance beam dismount. That
Oh my God. That the balance beam is so incredible to me. That, oh my God, that looks so difficult. I mean, all of gymnastics is amazing, but the balance beam, the kind of flips and everything that you do, and you still land on it, it's just incredible.
well, my spotter was doing this, looking away and just two fingers up.
Was this in college or
Yes,
after?
college.
What
I
college?
was the only person in the room who could do anything on the beam, so I was always the one that got to get the lesson because it was a class for people who wanted to be PE teachers. So they had to teach something. But that was the only gymnastics class that was in my schedule. And the day I did that balance beam thing, I had just finished a chemistry midterm. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And landed with my foot twisted.
Oh man.
Crunch, 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 three
Oh.
breaks.
Don't gymnasts get a lot of injuries like that?
That one was a little more than usual. I also broke both my baby toes. That was on the mat because the mat you stick. You weren't allowed to wear shoes, and your toe gets caught on the foam, and your body keeps on going. Well, it breaks.
Could you beat up all your boyfriends because you had muscles?
No, uh, that
Trying
was
Yeah,
to
when I
be
was
funny.
skinny too.
with gym, I meant to be funny. In gymnastics, you got to start when you're 8 or 9 years old, and maybe even
Yeah.
sooner.
Well, I
You
didn't
know,
start until I was what 18,
college.
19 in junior college, which was acrobatics and not gymnastics. And then at Cal State, I took the gymnastics classes. But I had more PE classes than classes in my major, so there were a lot of people thought I was a PE major. But
You were a jock. That's great.
yeah, I had classes all over the campus And almost everybody within my major, all they did was stuff within the major. And, they say, oh, well, what days do you have midterms? And I'd say one, what class is that? I go, oh, Chinese. Oh,
Do you speak Chinese?
I can still say, hi, how are you? Have you eaten yet?
That's how I
But,
feel about Spanish. I used to be fluent in Spanish, not anymore.
well, I'm told the Spanish that's spoken here is not what you learn in school. So,
I think it's
you
more
Well,
know,
formal.
Spanish, from what I don't speak Spanish, but from what I understand, the Spaniards in Spain who speak Spanish speak it very different from like Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and everything.
right.
They slur their words. They like mumble their words. They go blah, 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 and like I live in a Puerto Rican neighborhood and a lot of my friends and they're like we can't even understand them. We can't even because they like mumble and slur their words.
No, they actually.
Kind of like how
I don't know
Americans butcher
who.
English.
You realize Oscar was born in Puerto Rico and he identifies very
And he
strong.
mumbles his words also.
No, isn't that true? Isn't that true? The Spaniards do that. They go like blah, 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 blah.
No,
No?
no,
What?
no.
They speak faster though, just like
Okay,
English.
I've watched Pedro Almodovar movies. Okay, Pedro Almodovar is this great Spanish film
Yeah, we
director.
know he is. Yeah.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. So I've watched his movies and they go like I don't know how to do it, but like how they say woman, mujer or something like that. Like in the Americas, Spanish is more articulate. It's more
No,
no, no.
no,
Well, then what? Why am I saying?
no,
Why am I saying what I'm saying? Why am I saying
You
what
can't
no.
help
I,
yourself.
you, the proper Spanish is speaking in Spain, but it depends on which sector of Spain. You're talking probably, I don't know what province, but if you talk to a person from Barcelona, they speak perfect Spanish. The people in the if you talk to a person from Argentina in Spanish, they speak proper Spanish. You talk to a person in Chile, they talk proper Spanish. Everybody else have a different version of the Spanish. It's not any different from a person living here in Chicago, or a person in Boston, or a
or
person in
Mississippi? Yeah.
Louisiana.
Or
So
Mississippi.
it's just or Mississippi. It's the same, but if you're talking pure Spanish, somebody from Barcelona or anybody that speak proper Castellano will be different. But whatever saying that the people they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, okay. Well,
Really,
I'm talking to my friend Yancey who lives across the alley from me. Okay, he's
I
from Puerto Rico.
understand, but I'm from Puerto Rico, and I can tell you that I'm from Puerto Rico, grew up in Puerto Rico, moved to the States in 1982. So basically, I lived half of my life in Puerto Rico. I still talk to my family in Spanish. And I got to tell you, when I talk to a person in Spain, I can understand them properly because they pronounce everything properly. When I talk to some people in Mexico, I understand half of the shit that they say. The Cubanos is the worst. If you talk to somebody from Honduras, it's worse. If you talk to somebody from Venezuela, it's even worse. So
Well, don't talk to anybody from LA because they speak Spanglish rather than
yeah,
Mama Kita.
and also when I'm when I notice in time, and it's true, when I get tired, I don't pronounce my English words properly. So when I get tired, I start to slur my words. So
When did you learn English?
when I was 4,
Oh, okay. And then you came here in 92?
yeah,
Okay. So did you primarily in Puerto Rico, did you primarily speak Spanish or English?
Spanish, but I read everything in English.
Oh, okay.
But my
Is that
brain works
required
in
in
Spanish,
school?
not in English. What?
Are the schools taught in English or do you get Spanish at school?
It depends on what kind of school you go. If it's public school, it's all Spanish. If you go to and not too expensive private school, the books are teaching English and the classes speak in Spanish. If you go to a more expensive private school, everything is in one language. So you can, if it's you're teaching, learning French, so everything's in French. If it's the class is Spanish, is Spanish. Everything else is in English. That's when you talk to my sister. She doesn't have an accent, or you can barely notice it.
You mean in American? In American? You mean in speaking English, you can't tell that she has a Spanish accent? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, she doesn't have an accent actually. She
Okay.
barely can. You can barely find it.
Okay.
I don't know if actually was in corporate America. So, but don't. I want to be saying that to anybody because that kind of, quite honestly, you, that's kind of insulting.
What do you mean?
I want to be telling uh, anybody that they don't speak proper Spanish or proper English because you don't know that person might be doing. For all my concern, you might be the one not speaking proper English, and it's just like when I'm in Texas, for example, I need to put it this more clear. When I go to Alabama, the few times that I've been there, I need to really stop and listen to the person, pay a lot of attention. When I go to New York or somebody upper east, they speak too fast for me. So are they speaking poor English or they talking just a normal? They're talking. I got a friend. She's from Boston, and once in a while, the Boston accent comes out, and I just start laughing because I can recognize it. So you don't know, it's the way that each sector, each part of the country speak differently from
Yeah.
everybody else,
Yeah, yeah.
and you kind of say,
There's
so
a
I wouldn't.
countless number of dialects in any language. Countless number of dialects. Just like you have them not only in every state in the US, but in micro regions. There's so many dialects. The only thing I was saying about Spanish, and I don't even know how we got on that or why I said it, is because of like what my neighbor said about not being able to understand people from Spain because they swallow their vowels.
So
Roseanne.
she froze.
Yeah,
Like, what did he say?
You
you
froze.
froze.
Rose.
She swallowed her vowels.
Swallowed her vowels. Yeah. Swallowed her vowel. Or he said they kind of mumble and it's hard to understand him. This is just an anecdote that I'm telling you from what my neighbor told me. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
I wouldn't be repeating that, to be honest with you, especially because you don't know. You
We've
know.
gone way off topic.
Yeah.
Let's call it a meeting.
Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Hey,
Bye,
can we do
everybody.
another Tuesday tonight?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Court's
What's that?
gone.
No, car is gone.
Oh,
Be good. Bye.
All right.
bye.
Bye.